may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, for this video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of just talking about our trade targets in a general vacuum, we're actually going to be ranking our top 5 trade targets for the wide receiver position this week. I got this recommendation from the YouTube comments. I really go down there and try to read as many comments as I can every single video to see your suggestions, to see what y'all want to see from this channel in videos and live streams. So please guys, let me know what y'all think of this format, and also let me know if you have any other suggestions on how y'all think we can improve this channel. And if y'all have not already, while y'all are down there letting me know, please make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and we are on our way to 20,000 subscribers. So let's start it off with our first wide receiver, and I know y'all are going to be so annoyed with me recommending him as a trade target, but he's our #1 ranked trade target this week at the wide receiver position, and this is going to be Michael Thomas. And yes, let me come out and let me say flat out, I actually recommended Michael Thomas as a trade target all the way back in week 5. Now, if y'all remember, going into week 5, Michael Thomas, by all accounts, was over that high ankle sprain. We thought that he was going to be good to go that game as a top 3 wide receiver in fantasy football. And then right before that game, after we all had him planned to start, either it was a Monday night or a Sunday night, I don't really remember. Anyway, he gets benched by Sean Payton for punching his teammate, and then they go into the bye, and then coming out of the bye, I double down. I say, okay, yeah, I know that was frustrating. I know we did not necessarily get to see Michael Thomas come back when we wanted to, but regardless, go try to buy him now because he's over the ankle injury. He should not be disciplined any further, and he's going to be a top 3 wide receiver going forward. And then he injures his hamstring. So what I will say right now, guys, I am very sorry if you went out and traded for him back in week 5 when I initially advised you to. Please don't hold it against me just because a couple of those things were completely unpredictable. But going forward, I know I've said it so many times, guys, there's no reason to expect Michael Thomas not to be a top 3 wide receiver. And now this would be a completely different stance if we did not see this New Orleans Saints team in the current situation which they find themselves. They are currently sitting 5-2, and we know that this is a team with Drew Brees really being on his last legs. I think that we are going to end up expecting them to continue to push the ball downfield, to continue to try to win in 2020, because outside of this, I think we are going to end up seeing the New Orleans Saints really go into rebuild mode. This is their last chance at the Super Bowl. There's no reason for them not to bring back Michael Thomas. Yes, if this was a lost season, I think that we could see Michael Thomas just kind of shut down, and maybe they would look to move on from him after all these frustrations this entire season, but that's not the case. They cannot afford to do that. They're going to need to bring Michael Thomas in. They're going to need to be competitive throughout the rest of the year because Tampa Bay right now really looks like they are surging to win this division, and I think the New Orleans Saints desperately need Michael Thomas. Okay, now I know y'all are going to be frustrated with this next player too, but he's our #2 trade target this week. This is actually going to be Justin Jefferson, and the reason y'all are going to be frustrated with me here is I actually told a lot of people to start Justin Jefferson last week, that I was not scared of Jaire Alexander just because we were going to see Justin Jefferson get some routes against a different cornerback, and on top of that, we were going to see Justin Jefferson just continue to rise in this offense as the top option for Kirk Cousins. Now, clearly, looking back a week later, I think that we can just say that with Dalvin Cook going off for 4 touchdowns, with Dalvin Cook going over 200 total yards, that is never going to be a situation where we can expect production from a player like Justin Jefferson, just because it's not like this offense is going to be able to put up 50+ points each and every week. But what I am saying here is with this Minnesota Vikings defense, they are so bad that I think that we could end up seeing Kirk Cousins get into some shootouts down the road. And what we saw from Justin Jefferson this past week is, yes, Jaire Alexander actually lined up against him, but Jefferson still commanded about the same amount of opportunity and the same amount of production from an Adam Thielen. So while y'all called us crazy for saying that Justin Jefferson could very easily be the wide receiver 1 for this offense for the rest of the season, I think based on their past performance in week 8, I think that's something that we're going to come to expect from Justin Jefferson, who is able to match that Adam Thielen production against a top 5 cornerback in the NFL. Jefferson's going to get better matchups. We are going to see matchups where Kirk Cousins has to be a little bit more pass happy if they want to win this game. It's just a really bad game script, and I think that we are going to be trying to buy him low because, I mean, Justin Jefferson owners have not been able to use his real production in the past 3 weeks because we know this week we saw the Dalvin Cook. Last week, we saw that bye week, so Justin Jefferson was not able to get into their starting lineups. I think people may be just forgetting how legit this wide receiver is. He is our number 2 ranked trade target this week. Now, let's keep it at the rookie position, and let's go to T. Higgins as our number 3 trade target. And I think when we are looking at a player like T. Higgins, this is someone that we have to understand. It looks like he is just fully emerged as the alpha wide receiver in Cincinnati. On top of that, he is currently 21 years old. So I think, yes, he's going into a bye week right now, but I think we are going to end up seeing this coaching staff sit down, come up with a good game plan to really implement T. Higgins as this number 1 option for the Cincinnati Bengals, because right now AJ Green looks to be one of the most ineffective wide receivers in the NFL in terms of how much opportunity that he is getting, and with just no production to show for it. On top of that, we know that T. Higgins is just a much better talent than Auden Tate. And then if we compare him to a player like, I'm sorry, but if we compare him to Tyler Boyd, they're just 2 completely different wide receivers. So I think we are going to continue to expect him to develop that chemistry with a Joe Burrow. This is going to be a wide receiver that I think has a very high touchdown equity once they get to the red zone, which they should be in very often, just because how good this team has been on the offensive side of the ball. Maybe we actually see the offensive line get a little bit healthier, and that's going to allow the average depth of target for T. Higgins to go up a little bit. It's going to allow for more trips to the red zone, just more production overall for this offense. Yes, T. Higgins did not score a touchdown this past week, but he saw the targets, and that's going to be more important because we know with that big body, if he's getting the targets, the touchdowns will follow. Now, our next wide receiver really did not perform that well this past week, and on top of that, he is going into bye, but we have to understand that this is a wide receiver. If you look at his talent profile coming into the NFL, a lot of people actually had him ranked higher than players like Jerry Jeudy, than players like Henry Ruggs, than players like Denzel Mims, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins. I mean, he was a high pedigree prospect coming into the NFL, and this is Jalen Reagor. So with Jalen Reagor, yes, he got severely out-targeted and severely outproduced by Travis Fulgham this past week. And I think coming out of the bye week, maybe that's something we can expect for one more week. But I promise y'all guys, I would be willing to lay down money on this, that Jalen Reagor is a better NFL wide receiver than a Travis Fulgham. I think coming out of the bye week with Jalen Reagor being fully healthy, we are going to see him get implemented as the number 1 wide receiver option for Carson Wentz going forward. The schedule's actually about to get a lot easier for this Philadelphia Eagles offense, and I think that we are going to see Jalen Reagor provide us mid wide receiver 2 production at his ceiling, and at his floor, I still think that he's going to be a wide receiver 3. So for someone that is currently being valued as just a throw-in piece in a trade, as someone that you may be able to get off the waiver wire in some weeks, I am really just looking to go out and get Jalen Reagor to put on my bench right now, knowing that he has that upside down the road to be an every week contributor. Now, this last wide receiver actually made our falling fast wide receiver video, and I mentioned that I don't know if we could be going out there and buying him just because of how brutal his current situation is. But here, I think if we look at this in the grand scheme of things, if we look at the talent profile of the wide receiver, as well as the opportunity that he is getting in his offense, I think we're going to have to go out and send some offers for Amari Cooper. Now, when I'm saying this, guys, please, I'm hoping everyone watches this video to the end, because we are not going to be sending out Amari Cooper offers right now. But what we are going to be doing is, as soon as week 9 is over, if Amari Cooper performs just however he performs against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense, this is a defense that we do not want to be attacking whatsoever. I think they're going to be able to get at Andy Dalton very often this game. So after this week, it's going to be the ultimate buy low opportunity on Amari Cooper, who will be going into a bye week, so his owners won't even have him available to think about putting him in their starting lineup. On top of that, he'll be coming off of just back-to-back very bad performances. So right now, I am not saying go and send offers for Amari Cooper today, but I was just looking across the entire NFL landscape. trying to figure out players that I wanted to include in this video. And outside of Amari Cooper, I just couldn't really do it, because when we are looking at his fantasy football value, yes, it is plummeting, but we have to understand, once it gets to a certain point, I think that we have to go out there and send offers, and I think that may happen after this week against an elite Pittsburgh Steelers defensive unit. Okay, now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, please make sure you go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. And yeah, that's it. I'll be live streaming every single night this week at 9 p.m. Central, except on Thursday night when I'll be live streaming after the game. So I really hope I see y'all there.